Hey guys, welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing another Man United video. And if you like this type of content, if you like me giving my opinions on Manchester United and you want to share your opinions on the team that we all love, then please subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell for all future videos, but also make sure that you smash the like button, comment, and give your thoughts in the comment section below. Today's video I'm going to be centering around Erik Ten Hag. There's been various things being thrown around about Erik Ten Hag. Is he the right man for Manchester United? Is he a fraud? Does he know any tactics? And all of these type of things have been flown around on social media, on the internet. Plenty of reactors have given their thoughts about this as well. I thought that I maybe will weigh in on this and give you my thoughts and my opinion on Erik Ten Hag as a manager and how we should maybe look at this as a Manchester United fan. Now, by no means am I the messiah or is my opinion the right one. It's just merely a different perspective, perhaps, than you normally would get. And it's just my thoughts on how I feel about the club I love. Now, I'm going to start this off by saying Manchester United fans have been very reactionary. And okay, I don't want to just paint Man United fans with that title. I think that all football fans in general are very reactionary. You can also see this by the way fans reacted towards Spurs' loss to Arsenal. Fans were lauding Ange for his style of football and the way he plays the game. And now they've turned on him completely. A lot of fans want him out. The same thing happens with Liverpool. First three games of the season, unbeaten. They beat Man United 3-0, and everybody's talking about how amazing Slot is as a coach and his tactics and all of that. Then they go and lose to Nottingham Forest, and then fans go crazy. Some fans, portions of the fan base, go crazy and start criticizing the manager, which I feel is a little bit maybe overboard. But I'm not here to talk about those rivals. I'm here to talk about Man United. I think that as fans, when we think about a club that we love, when we think about this team, I feel that the first thing we need to do is remember what we are. We are fans of Manchester United. We are not fans of the manager, of the players in particular. We should be fans of Manchester United first. We shouldn't be player FC. We should want everybody in our team to succeed. We should want every manager, every coach to do well because it's at the benefit of Manchester United. Whenever a team gets announced before a match, there's a lot of debate. Why is he not starting this one? Why is he not starting that one? We also need to remember that we are not the ones that are in the training. We are not seeing these players train. We are not doctors, so we don't know what their condition is. We don't know whether they should have been rested or whether they should not be rested. All of those things we need to take into account. I've decided this season to be less reactionary, but I'm probably not going to be that. If they lose and they upset me and certain players upset me, I'm probably going to have a little rant on this channel about it. But let me get back to the topic. Let's start with Erik Ten Hag. I just want to paint a little picture about his journey from Ajax to Manchester United. I remember the fan base when Erik Ten Hag was announced as the new manager. Now, I am an Ajax fan as well. I grew up in Holland for 3 years, and Ajax was the team that I supported when I lived in Holland. I was very young, though, at the time, but I remember what it was like to be in Holland and support football. I remember it was the time of the Euros when I was there, and people would paint their houses orange and the grass orange, and they'll all wear orange throughout that period supporting the team. They are crazy fanatics about the sport in Holland. So Erik Ten Hag comes from that culture. And I remember watching a couple of videos, for example, on the United stand when Flex and KG went to Amsterdam. They went to Ajax and they went to the ground and they watched Erik Ten Hag win a match to lift that trophy when they were crowned as champions. And I remember the fan base, how they reacted to the news about Erik Ten Hag. We were linked to Poch, we were linked to Zidane. But when Erik Ten Hag's name was on that list, a lot of people were saying, we want Erik Ten Hag as our manager. He came into a setup that was in a mess. You remember, guys, that period during Ragnick and the end of the Oli era. How many people wanted Oli out? A club legend. And the abuse that Oli got towards the end of his career as a Manchester United manager. And how many people wanted a change? We brought in Ragnick, and I want you guys to just rewind back to that period that Ragnick was there, that first 30 minutes of the match that we played, his first match that we played, I will never forget it. We were trying to implement that Ragnick can press, and we were pressing high up and at an alarming rate. And then all of a sudden, after 30 minutes, the whole team just collapsed. We ran out of steam. That team wasn't conditioned to press at the high levels that is required these days in modern football and in the Premier League. That was an indication to me that this team needed a hell of a lot of work. Ragnick even said it in his press conference. Manchester United need open heart surgery. We need to let go of so many players and we need to basically bring in a whole entire squad and team. That was the message from Ralph Ragnick. We had a Ronaldo return, which I think had a massive factor to play in Ollie's demise as well. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer even mentioned it in a video on Stick to Football on Gary Neville's channel, where he said that it was the right thing to do at the time to bring Ronaldo to Manchester United, but it was also the wrong thing for Manchester United. So at the same time, it was the wrong thing for him. And when he came back, it wasn't a shock that he would be surprised and probably disgusted with the situation that Manchester United was finding themselves in. The Carrington ground was still outdated. The stadium, we remember those videos of the ceiling leaking. There were so many problems. The glazes were terrible. Although they're still there at the club, we have changed the hierarchy there. And the hierarchy was the big problem. Everybody wants the glazes out, and we still do. And that was a major, major problem with Manchester United that needed to be fixed. The structure of the club needed to be fixed so that when the manager comes in, he has the right backing behind him to make the right decisions at the top level. So that's one thing that Erik Ten Hag had to sort out. We saw that there was no way Ronaldo was going to be able to play in this high pressing system. And Ronaldo didn't like being benched or being taken off or being brought on for the last 35 minutes of a game. He wanted to be the main guy at Man United, and it didn't work out for him. I thought that Erik Ten Hag at the time dealt with that situation brilliantly. He said to the media what he thought and protected Ronaldo in the media, and then made decisions that was best for the team. Now, we still had those players from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's era, and we needed to get them out. Harry Maguire, Victor Lindelof, Scott McTominay, Fred, all of those type of players were still at the club, and we needed to get rid of them. There were a lot of people on the payroll. Eric Bailey, Phil Jones was sitting on a contract. Martial was not fit and constantly wasn't available for Man United, and we needed to make those changes so that we can move forward. Now, the opening two games of that first season, Erik Ten Hag tried to implement his style of football. Now, his style of football at Ajax was very dominant. He would press teams so high up the pitch and kind of suffocate them within their own half. He would pass a team to death around the box until an opening arises. And it was a style of football that was the opposite of selfish. I know that generally speaking, when it comes to strikers are very selfish, and certain forward players are very selfish and they need to take shots immediately. But Erik Ten Hag would always say that you pass to the person that has the best opportunity to score. And they played a very attractive attacking brand of football, and it was kind of suffocating. And I would love to see Man United go in that direction in the future. But in order for that system to work, you need technical players. Over the few years that Erik Ten Hag was at that club, he has De Ligt, he had Lisandro Martinez, he had the likes of De Jong, he had Mazraoui there, he had Tagliafico, he had Tadic, he had Timber, he had Gravenberg, he had so many technical players at the club that could control the ball, pass the ball, move the ball, had football awareness as well. I mean, Daley Blind that used to be at United, the one thing that we used to always compliment him on was his footballing brain. So he had all of these players that had a footballing brain, plus the technical skills to be able to pass the ball 5 meters consistently and keep passing rates up to 90% on the regular. Man United didn't have that. You can't expect to win games with Scott McTominay in your midfield and Fred always giving the ball away. Yes, Fred's work rate was amazing and he was good at maybe breaking up play at some points, but his passing ability was terrible. And we had both of them in the midfield, central midfield position. And we also have Bruno Fernandes, who is a type of player that He is not necessarily a high converter, but he tries and he tries and he tries and fails, and then it works, and we get a goal or we get a assist. He's a high risk player. So you can't have three, four players like that in your team. One player like that is fine. You can have that one player in your team that can take a lot of risks and lose the ball, because then you have people to obviously take the ball and recycle it again. So, in order for Erik Ten Hag to find results, he needed to change our system after those first two games in his first season. And he did that. And we ended up third and we won the Carabao Cup. Now, in the second season, it was about getting some of the deadwood out and then bringing some new people in that can try and help take that step to the next level. And what happened? The entire team almost was injured for the majority of the season. You cannot have success in a team if your back four isn't available consistently. That's obviously going to cause you problems. And a lot of people came out and said, oh, yeah, but Erik Ten Hag can't use injuries as a excuse. But let's just be a little bit logical here when we're talking about this. If you take the back four out of any of the Premier League sides, even Manchester City, they will struggle. They will struggle to win games. Pep even said this in his press conference. So we didn't even have our backups. And we always had to play Johnny Evans with sometimes Harry Maguire. And we all know that Harry Maguire is not good enough for Manchester United. Let's just be real. So if we are still picking him in our first team and he's still playing majority of the games, then there's a problem. Definitely a problem. Then on top of the back four being injured all the time, only the low really was fit throughout the season. Then you move into the midfield. Mason Mount was injured. Casemiro was injured for large portions of the season. So now you're missing your two main midfielders other than Bruno Fernandes, because I'll take Mason Mount as a main midfielder last season because he was a big money signing. He barely played any football. So that's another important part of your system, your engine room, that is disrupted. And then we had a front line that couldn't score goals on top of that. So if you take your whole spine out of the team, Rasmus Højlund didn't play all the games last season. And remember, Martial was injured for the entire season. So you only had one striker that was relatively fit. So for the entire season, United had to play with an empty spine, basically, a depleted spine. Tell me any team in the Premier League or in world football that will still get results with that happening to them. Your backups are the people that you want to get out of the club. When those players started to come back into the team, we started to play a lot better. We saw that towards the end of the season. We even won the FA Cup against Manchester City. Now, we shouldn't go crazy about that. It's a cup, and we should be happy and proud of our team that we won it. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, because this team is still in transition. Move on to this season. This team is still in transition. We're now starting to find a spine that we can rely on. Now, we do have some injuries here, but I don't think it's going to affect us as much as what it would have last season, because it's not in critical parts of the team. We have our midfielders available. Someone like Ugarte is still getting fully fit. And the season hasn't started the way we wanted it to. 2 losses, 2 wins so far when I'm recording this video. So there's still a lot to improve in the side, but we need to take the wins. I hear people say that we're still seeing the same problems as last season. That is extremely incorrect. And I'll tell you why. The biggest problem for Manchester United last season was that teams were running through us in the middle of the park, and they were getting shots away at an alarming rate. It was about 20 shots per game we were facing in every single match that we played. That is disgusting. This season, when you look at the stats, we are fifth, I think, on the list. The big problem right now with Man United is finishing those chances. We need a front three to find some form, and we need Rasmus Højlund to come back. But already we can start to see patterns of play. At least I can. The way we played in the first 30 minutes against Liverpool, we could clearly see the way we want to play football. You could see against Southampton, we passed the ball around the box, trying to look for the open players, and our players weren't scared to pass the ball to open players. Those are signs of Erik Ten Hag's Ajax team, looking for the open players giving them the best opportunity to score. So when it comes to this phase of Manchester United, I do feel we're heading in the right direction. But I do also understand as a Manchester United fan that one loss and everybody's going to be on Erik Ten Hag's case once again. I would urge most Manchester United fans to just have patience because I feel like our season starts now. I feel like our rebuild starts now. It didn't start last year and it didn't start in the first season of Erik Ten Hag. I've heard a lot of people say, but Erik Ten Hag is in his third season. He should be playing a level of football and we should start to see the style of football, which I feel is the style of football is like a new buzzword that people have been throwing around recently because there were a lot of successful managers that don't necessarily have a style of football. Look at Ancelotti and look at Jose Mourinho. I know towards the end of his career, he was becoming more and more of a defensive type of manager. But before, he used to change his tactics according to the opposition. And that's how you win trophies. Arsenal didn't play an attacking brand of football against Tottenham to beat them. Arteta had to change his system and his tactics to beat Tottenham. He played a little bit more defensive and hit them on the counter attack, which is not how they usually play football. So Erik Ten Hag said in his press conference that he's going to be adapting. He wants his squad to be available to him so that now he can make decisions based on the opposition that they're playing. So we're probably going to start to see his tactics. So for me personally, I don't think that his rebuild started in year one or year two. I think his rebuild starts now. He's now brought in a new spine into this team, and we're going to start to see his brand of football and the way he wants to play the game. So I think we start judging him this season, but I also feel we need to give him the time to be able to make this Manchester United team great again. And I really, really hope he can, because as a Manchester United fan, it's been a hard last 10 years. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you agree with me, smash that like button, click subscribe, click that notification bell for all future videos. If you disagree with me, type it in the comment section below. Thoughts. This is a community where we can all express our feelings and our thoughts about Manchester United as well. So thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Peace out, everyone.